I learn a lot from each show.
The shows are inspiring.
Whether it's mechanics or gardening, I learn so much each time I tune in.
I love that the experts are right here in our community.
Now, the future of real estate with Darryl Baskin on our Ask the Experts weekend on News 102.3 KRMG.
The following program is sponsored by Darryl Baskin of eXp Realty.
Opinions expressed are those of the participants and not necessarily those of KRMG or the program's sponsors. Welcome to the Future of Real Estate on News Talk, KRMG. Darryl Baskin, Tulsa's leading real estate advisor, and his team of specialists share tips and insights on buying and selling homes. Plus, you'll hear from interesting guests on maintaining and improving the home you have now.
Darryl Baskin, the future of real estate is now.
And now, the host of the Future of Real Estate, Darryl Baskin.
Well, good afternoon and welcome to the Future of Real Estate, Tulsa's source for local real estate news and information. I'm Darryl Baskin of the Baskin Real Estate Specialists at eXp Realty, joined in studio today with Pamela Wright.
Hi, everybody.
And Stephen Whitaker, Reverend Stephen Whitaker with John 3:16 Mission will be joining us in a little while. And also Dan Newberry, who's been out for a few weeks, only graced us over the phone, so he's going to stop by here coming up, and I've got a long list of things to talk about. One of them, popular home updates. The most bang for your buck. You know, I'm so tired of talking about kitchens and outdoor living spaces and all of these things that really don't bring the most bang for your buck anymore. Let me tell you why.
They cost so much.
That's it.
10,000 and above.
You know what used to happen. And really, kitchens and outdoor living spaces, they're good home improvements. They really are.
Especially if you're going to live there for a while and you can enjoy them. Then they're worth it.
Well, it's like a pool. A pool. That's a great home improvement. Well, if you like a pool. But here's what happened. And we keep outdoing ourselves. So years ago, it was like the kitchen is the place you're going to get the most return for your money. The master bathroom, that's the place you're going to get the most return for your money. So let me tell you kind of how it started. It's, let's replace our countertops. We'll paint the cabinets. We'll replace the countertops. That's a relatively small investment, good return. And we were all happy with that in 1965.
I was going to say 90.
Okay, 90. Yeah. We'll give you that. No, 90s was kind of the tail end of the kitchen because they started to get so expensive. I mean, we've got luxury appliances.
Well, it's because of all the TV shows. You know, they give you the more expensive and ideas, but then that's for California market.
Well, then we look at the master bathroom. That's a great place to put your money. But where do you stop? I mean, you've got imported countertops and natural stones, and you have these waterfall bathtubs and things that just are lavish and wonderful. I mean, we should all have that, right?
Again, if you're going to live there for a while and enjoy it, and you've got the money to do that, then do it because you'll enjoy it. But don't do it just before you put it on the market and expect to get all that money back.
Before the outdoor living spaces, there was what? You got the best return off a deck. But then the deck, of course, to really make it the way it should be and to up your neighbor, I mean, to surpass them and to be the best, then you obviously needed like a space for your grill, which then turned out you actually needed a kitchen, an outdoor kitchen.
And now a TV.
You need the TV, but you also should have an outdoor fireplace, right? And so it just never stops. And here's a point where the reason this is such a valuable topic to me, we take it to the point of diminishing return. So when it comes to selling your house, Pamela, your point is perfect because there are certain things you want to do to improve the value, to get the return, to make it sellable. Sometimes you just need to do things to make them sell, not that you're doing it to get a specific amount of money back from the $1,000 that you put in, but you just need to get it sold.
Well, and what we're talking about, too, are simple, Some of these you can do it yourself, simple and inexpensive.
So give us some ideas beyond these huge remodel projects.
Well, the first thing to think about is the curb appeal, landscaping, because that's the first thing people see. And it depends on what your house is like. But if you mostly have yard and maybe a few bushes, then bring in some mulch just to break up the color. You know, they've got all different colors of mulch. You got brown, you got black, and it just adds to the color. And then if you have a lot of mulching and you don't want to have a lot of flowers, just put in a couple of really colorful flowers.
So some lines. You're looking at from the curb. You're looking at green. Maybe you've got a circle driveway, whatever these things are.
Just a little bit of color.
And break the color between the front lawn, the grass, up to the house, and make it complementary. Very affordable.
Well, and I was with a client yesterday who's getting close to putting the house on the market. And then this wonderful front porch. But in front of it, they had an old bed that they had, flower bed they hadn't worked with, so it was nothing but grass. I said,
those are the first things to go. Really, the landscaping can be.
And I didn't want them to put a lot of money in time into planting a bunch of stuff. So I said, okay, put the mulch down, pick a nice color, and then get 1 or 2 pots of something that's big and flowery. And they had this big porch. I said, get a nice, inexpensive pot to put some bright flowers next to the door so you really show off how nice that porch is.
Outdoor rugs can be a great way to accentuate and kind of remove the blah of concrete.
And then you can take the rugs with you. You don't have to leave them when you sell the house.
Yeah, that's the best part of staging a home. If you're looking at what you can take with you and not having to make a permanent investment, just dress up what you have. Just make sure it's something you want to take with you that will fit where you're going.
And when you're planning, if you have a big pot, you don't have to worry about weeds and stuff. You just get a pretty pot, inexpensive thing, put something pretty in there, and you go. Just got to water it once in a while. Okay, another simple one, paint. It's really the quickest way to make a room look fresh and new.
Even if you think your paint is fresh and new, it's probably not. I went to the top of the stairs at my house, and I swear, Greer's laughing. He knows. I had a meltdown yesterday. It just looked like they had been throwing dirt at the walls.
Right.
And were you all throwing dirt at the walls? Thea's here with us. Have you been throwing dirt at the walls up at the top of the stairs?
She's like, Dad, what are you talking about?
It looks like it. Okay, but that was recently painted. So you're right. 1 year into it, you still probably need to freshen up. Use a magic eraser if it is fresh enough that it'll still clean. But the colors also fade, and they fall out of fashion.
Well, and also rooms, if you just wash the light bulbs and the light fixtures, a lot of times that'll brighten up the room, because having a lot of light in the room really shows off your room. So that's very simple you can do. But here's a simple one for your kitchen is a backsplash. Of course that protects the water from splashing against the wall.
Yeah.
Protects the wall from the water. But you don't have to spend a lot of money, and you can do it yourself if you're careful. And you have a lot of variety of what you can do. So you can make a kitchen look a lot more modern. You can make it look fresh and new and updated by just having a nice backsplash.
And completely, especially with the tiles that come in sheets that you can use now. So I think it's important to realize the quality or the price level of the house that you've got and what you're improving. Because the last thing you want to do is end up cheapening your house by putting the wrong type of backsplash, for example. But often you are improving the value by simply having a backsplash. In other words, a home flipper might go in, dress something up, but cut costs on a more moderately priced home, cut costs by not putting in a backsplash. And I saw this, I actually have one under contract. And I looked at it and I said, hey, you know what you can do to immediately change the look of this kitchen the day you move in is put some backsplash tile up there. You don't even have to buy the large expensive sheets. Just put a simple band and it'll give you the color. If you want to change it in a couple of years, that's really easy to do.
Right. And again, you can do it yourself a lot of times. And what about a garage door? That can change your house. It can make it look fresh. And you have so many choices nowadays. You can go with wooden. You can go with colors. Lots of choices.
So the other things that you see, if you go to, this is why home and garden shows can be so valuable, is you go and you see stuff that you didn't realize even existed. And you can have it look like the sliding barn doors. You can have nice large brackets on it and really make a difference in the way your house looks. Okay, it's an upgrade, but it's a permanent upgrade that will stick with it and change the architectural look of your house, especially in Oklahoma, where so many of our houses are those giant garage doors that greet you, because we don't have alley access to some neighborhoods.
And
like you go to Dallas.
That's the first thing you see as you're walking to the front door. You have the garage door.
Yeah. So think about that and how much of the surface area of your house is affected by these things.
Okay. Well, then we have windows. And we talk about windows a lot, but windows can really save your energy, and they're beautiful and really appealing to buyers.
Yeah, well, and it was interesting. I just took pictures of a house yesterday, and Window World, one of our partners here on the program, going through talking about all the nice things, the upgrades to this house. This one was built in the 80s, and I'm taking pictures, and what do I see? But the Window World emblem on the lock, which is like, okay, this is a real selling feature, because not only does it look good, it makes the house quieter, it makes it more comfortable,
and a warranty,
and the lifetime warranty,
right.
glass breakage warranty
for the buyer. I mean, if the buyer's looking, they have that warranty,
and it makes it a more efficient home to own, which lowers your cost of living. Not your standard of living. It improves your standard. It lowers your cost. And that's a huge difference in the overall value of a house. When it comes to, if the floor plan works, if the general price range is okay, those are the emotional things that push people to the decision of, that's what I want. It's so much better than the other three that I'm considering. And those are the improvements that really don't cost that much. Some replacement windows are astronomically high. One of the reasons I use Window World so much is they're affordable, and you can recover your expense or your investment on that a lot quicker when you have just a good, nice looking and efficient window.
And it definitely is a selling point. Do you have time for one more?
Let's do one more.
Okay. What about the bathroom? Here's an inexpensive and quick bathroom update you can do. A vanity. You can have new light fixtures, so it's bright and looking. You can tile the floor. I have a client that was looking at her bathroom. Is small, and it had kind of an older-looking shower. Didn't have a bathtub. And I'd seen some tile in her garage. I said, how much extra tile do you have? She goes, I think I might have enough. So she just had to add a few pieces to what she had, and she didn't have to match it. She just made it, look, contrast well to it, and she was able to get a tile that really made that bathroom look nice.
So listen, we're not talking about what you need to do to sell your home today. We're talking about the things that you can do and make part of your plan, so that we don't walk in when you do call us to sell your home. We don't walk in and say, these are the 20 things that you need to do. We walk in and say, wow, what a nice job. What good forethought you had to selling your home, because you've kept up on these things, which make it a nicer place to live, more comfortable and enjoyable. And when it is time to sell, and I always like to have these emergency plans, like, what if I had to sell my house? Something happened in life and it changed everything, and I suddenly had to adjust something, and I had to sell my house. Maybe I needed a one level. Maybe I had to move to another part of town for schools, or whatever this could be. If that happened, or I needed to go take care of a family member, if that happened and I had to sell my house, I'm ready, because I've been working on these things. I think these are good financial decisions that you make for planning, and the reason you need to pay attention to this, even if you're not selling your house. Find out more information, homeguidetulsa.com, homeguidetulsa.com, or call us at 918-740-0077. We're the Baskin Real Estate Specialists. I'm Darryl Baskin, talking with Pamela Wright. We're going to take a break and come back with Stephen Whitaker of John 3:16 Mission here in Tulsa. Stay tuned.
Quality and value matter most. Choose Window World. Superior service, American-made products, and industry-leading warranties make us the #1 choice for your next home remodel. J.D. Power ranked Window World highest in customer satisfaction with window and patio door retailers. Be proud of your home and take care of it with a brand you can trust. Window World, America's exterior remodeler.
She designed the dress, but can she budget for her future?
I'm not ready yet. but I want to be.
Help her get 100% ready.
I live in a 100-year-old home. It's a home I fell in love with, and it has so many amazing features. But the one thing it does not have is straight windows. It has windows that are cracked and broken and worn out. I contacted Window World. They came in and put these brand new, amazing, incredibly beautiful windows into my home. From the outside of the house, they match the exterior perfectly. It looks like they've always been here. Now the windows are the jewels in the home. Window World, from the beginning to the end, they met and exceeded every expectation I had. Window World really is simply the best for less.
918-749-9130. That's 918-749-9130. You're the customer. You're the buyer. You're the seller. You can choose 918-749-9130. You'll be glad you did.
Hi, this is John Andretti for Window World, home of the original 189 window. I've always believed that America works best when America works. That's why our maintenance-free products are made right here in the USA. Our energy-saving products save you money two ways. First, Window World is America's largest replacement window company. And since we sell more windows than anyone else, we can sell them for less. Second, our great lineup, from windows to siding to entry doors, work together to make your home more energy efficient, saving you money month after month, forever. Plus, we've earned a good housekeeping seal, so every window we sell and install comes with our exclusive true lifetime warranty, transferable and guaranteed for life. It even covers glass breakage because we all know accidents can happen. Visit our showroom, see us online at windowworld.com, or give us a call at 1-800-NEXT-WINDOW. Superior products installed by professional craftsmen at guaranteed low prices. When it comes to updating your home with attractive energy-saving products, there's only one name to remember: Window World, simply the best for less.
One address, thousands of homes, homeguidetulsa.com. We have 8101 South Wynwood Lane in Broken Arrow. That's going to be open when? It's going to be open in
2 to 4. 2 to 4 on Sunday. I'm sorry.
I did that on purpose. I did that just for effect. Sunday, 2 to 4.
Sunday,
this is our
2-4.
5-acre, I'll call it weekend rancher's home. You can fit 8 cars in the garage.
You can fit any kind of animal you want out there. They have a lot of neighbors have horses and things, and yet it's a very elegant home.
A barn, a pond. Yeah. Good footage there. And price. What's the current price? $634,900. $634,900. Yes. HomeGuideTulsa.com. It will be open
very
tomorrow.
Very comparable to other properties with that much acreage.
Speaking of an open house, we have 13409 South 90th East Avenue. Now, this is going to be on the other end of the spectrum. $139 is a brand new price. You'll see it advertised for $142,500, but $139, where you can't find hardly anything for sale in Bixby for $139,000. So check this one out: 3 bedrooms, two bath, and a nice cul-de-sac lot. So HomeGuideTulsa.com. In studio, let's talk about John 3:16 Mission first.
I think we should definitely talk about John 3:16 Mission. We have the man, the myth, and the legend with us, Steve Whitaker.
I've got a list of questions. I don't know where to start. What do you want to hear about first? The most pressing issue that we have with the homeless population in Tulsa. What really changes lives? Spiritual, practical. We know the spiritual side of it, but what practical things really changes lives in the program? And underlying reasons, societal issues?
Well, at one point we had a real challenge with the population and the rejuvenation of downtown. in how some people didn't like where it was and some people did, and there was this migration going on. But really, those people are familiar with where they're going to get help. Is that accurate?
You're talking about the homeless population trying to get from one place to the next.
Right, yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Mobility?
They knew where they were going. Mobility was an issue, remains an issue for people that are homeless. But even though Tulsa still has in its overall code this anti-clustering notion when it comes to working with the homeless or homeless services, we have moved almost all the services into the northwest corner of downtown Tulsa, what has been called the Justice District. And John 316 is on the corner of the Justice District over there in the Brady Arts District now. But with the moving of the Iron Gate over into that corner, I think things are different now. Not quite the problem that it used to be. And, of course, there's still, we still have more people than we know what to do with. At least we don't have to make people walk so far.
And how is the mayor's program going? Where they're going around now to folks that are he's going around to people who are standing on the street corners saying, we'll work for food, the signs, they're picking them up and giving them jobs and doing things. I've always understood that group might be part of the homeless population. Is that accurate?
Talking about a better way. Mayor's new program.
Better way.
Well, you'd have to ask them what their results are. They've got some pretty fantastic results that they have in their literature. What we do know is that there's no shortage of people that are still panhandling, and they still need help.
But wait a minute. Let's draw. This sounds so mean, and a lot of people don't like to talk about it. You post something on social media that's about, let me just make something up. I'm tired of panhandlers and blah, 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 always begging for money. And then somebody else chimes in and says, oh, but these are homeless, hurting people, and we have to care for the homeless. Now, wait a minute. I'm hearing two different stories. I'm hearing, and at times seeing from personal experience, panhandlers that are just like scraping and kind of cheating the system off people's goodwill. And then I'm seeing the truly hurting and homeless people who need help, who want to be rehabilitated or have a mental disorder that needs to be addressed. Tell us, from your experience, your sleeves are rolled up. You're down in the trenches every day. What's really going on?
So last November, John 360 did 108 outreaches to people under the bridges. That was just November. That's not counting the other months. Out of 108 people, one person came to John 316 Mission. This was with our promise. We'd put them at the front of the line. We'd get them services. We'd get them a meal. We'd give them a clean place to stay. We would give them whatever they needed. We would just help them with whatever way they needed. Couldn't give them money, of course. But one person out of 108 came. My experience with doing legitimate outreach, whether you're a mental health professional, whether you're a faith-based organization like John 316, and we are trained to do mental health work as well, or if you're just a relief worker, that typically you're turned away wholesale if you're reaching out to somebody who's panhandling on the streets. And there's one exception right now. We're seeing the beginning of third world begging in Tulsa, and that's a different issue and has different theological ramifications for me.
And I want to talk about this. I think people are really interested and desiring more information. We've got a hard break here. We're talking to Stephen Whitaker with John 316 Mission here in Tulsa. Pamela Wright, Dan Newberry, I'm Darryl Baskin. We're going to be back with Future of Real Estate right after this.
I want to be an interpreter for sign language.
Maybe try to be a lawyer.
I would like to run like a little cafe.
Junior Achievement gives young people the skills they need to own their economic success, plan for their future, and make smart academic choices. Our volunteers help students with financial literacy, work readiness, and entrepreneurship.
And it's really helping me understand how it's going to be in the future.
I live in a 100-year-old home. It's a home I fell in love with, and it has so many amazing features. But the one thing it does not have is straight windows. It has windows that are cracked and broken and worn out. I contacted Window World. They came in and put these brand new, amazing, incredibly beautiful windows into my home. From the outside of the house They match the exterior perfectly. It looks like they've always been here. Now the windows are the jewels in the home. Window World, from the beginning to the end, they met and exceeded every expectation I had. Window World really is simply the best for less.
When quality and value matter most, choose Window World. Superior service, American-made products, and industry-leading warranties make us the #1 choice for your next home remodel. J.D. Power ranked Window World highest in customer satisfaction with window and patio door retailers. Be proud of your home and take care of it with a brand you can trust. Window World, America's exterior remodeler.
So we get a contract on your home, and now we've got to talk about those things that are staying with the house. The time to really talk about it, though, is now, before we have a contract. So things that are expected to stay will be kind of in the fine print. It's really not that fine. It's a section in the contract. Now, I've included a link to it so that you can see it and review it. But there's some other items that are by default expected, and those things would be considered attached to the house. So if they're not listed in the section that I've included for you, that link, then maybe you need to remove them or replace them. Let me give you an example. Your great-grandmother's Tiffany lamp that you had installed. Well, if some buyer comes in and just falls in love with it, that's something that you're going to find very hard to replace. So replace it now. A buyer's going to come in, they're going to probably like or be indifferent to what you picked, but if you don't replace it ahead of time, then they're going to fall in love with it, and the whole sale of the house is going to be teetering on this lamp. Or window coverings, or bathroom mirrors, or another example, something that's just really special to you. So think about those things. If they are yours, get them out of sight, or if they're yours and you can't just go to Walmart and replace it with something else, get those out of sight. Now, the other items can be lawn implements of some sort, like decorations. Those can often be a gray area. So if there's a statuary or something of that nature, maybe a hand-painted mailbox, whatever, if you've got a question about it, call me and ask. And if in doubt, let's just get it out of sight so we don't have to worry about it and it doesn't become a hindrance to your successful sale and closing.
You're the customer. You're the buyer. You're the seller. You can choose 918-749-9130. You'll be glad you did.
A typical summer afternoon is underway with highs in the low 90s today. What's left of Hurricane Barry will be scooting by to our east the next few days, and we could see a few rain showers east of Tulsa on Sunday and Monday. A little cooler those days, too. After that, summer heat is back for the middle and later part of the week. I'm certified meteorologist Laura Mock for Fox 23 and 102.3 KRMG.
134, 88 degrees under scattered skies. Just a beautiful day out there in Tulsa. News 102.3 KRMG.
One address, thousands of homes, homeguidetulsa.com. Now I've got to find out what they are because I've been just chatting away.
We'll mention my open house again. I remember the address now.
Yeah,
there are thousands of homes.
8101 Wynwood Lane.
In Broken Arrow, not far from Forest Ridge.
It's not going to be open in June. It's going to be open in July. You know, there's so much. It sounds like this is like a really simple job. And in a lot of ways, selling real estate's not that difficult, really, if you know what you're doing. But there's a lot of detail to keep up with. And like the dates and the times, who's going to be there, where it's going to be posted. Every post has to be accurate. And some of them are done automatically that somebody else controls. And they get the date wrong or the time wrong. It's fun.
But this Sunday, July 14th.
Yeah, this Sunday.
Okay.
6122 South Garnett Road. This is a commercial building I've got for sale or lease, 7,500 square feet in the back. And you know what's so amazing about this property? You could buy it for $990,000. The space is for lease under $4,000 per month. That's a good price per square foot. Great parking. but there's retail space.
When you say
up
it's
front.
under lease, that means somebody's leasing it currently.
It's for lease.
It's for lease.
Yes. Okay. Maybe I misspoke. It's the back part of it, 7,500 square feet, is for lease. Well, it doesn't look really that great on paper when you start looking at a commercial building that's half empty. But then it's half investment property as well because you have all this retail frontage up front. Well, what if you needed like office space, but you wanted a small retail presence? Lots of companies want this. And they're doing some assembly in the back. Maybe they're shipping out a lot of mail order type stuff or some office space, but you need an area for people to walk in the front door and have a small showroom. That's what this is ideal for. And guess what? You've got built-in traffic because you control the tenants up front, and you have tenants helping pay for your investment in your building. If you want to expand, then you take over those spaces. So this is a really great building. It is a sleeper, 6122 South Garnett. And
sounds like a great location.
It is. Over the years, there have been road improvements. A lot of industry has come in there, really filled up along the 61st Street corridor, all the way from the Mingo Valley Expressway, Highway 169, into Broken Arrow, down to the old Ford Glass plant, which has become a new economic engine for us. And speaking of economic engines, let's talk about Tulsa for a second. Aon just announced a $28 million expansion. WPX building their headquarters, the old spaghetti warehouse. Kind of sad to see the building go, but we need to keep things moving along, and that's going to be a lot of people down there. Has some retail in that as well. BMX headquarters, which is old news, but we have not. This is where, listen to me, if you don't follow this, what happens today or what happened 5 years ago now affects us today. 10 years ago now, these are long-term changes, decisions that have long-term benefits or consequences. They can have consequences, and we don't see them until all the elected officials are gone and somebody new is in office trying to convince us that we did the wrong thing a long time ago. We need to start doing the right thing now so that our children or grandchildren can enjoy it. And these are some of the things that we're seeing that have been brewing for a very long time. We won't see.
Or current politicians take advantage and credit for what previous people did.
While they're making bad decisions.
That happens
look at this bad decision that I made last week that suddenly resulted in all of these great things happening to you.
Right.
Yeah. Listen, talk about discernment. There you need it. So pay attention. Look at not what people say, but what they do. And
it sounds like there's a lot going on downtown that's very positive.
It's happening all over the place. We've got the Rose District in Broken Arrow. Just good things happening that are good for everyone. Whether you're in the middle of it, whether you're a developer or not, it's not all about. I tell people frequently, when real estate is good, when my business is good, that means it's good for a lot of people, contractors, laborers, people have jobs. They have to have jobs in order to be able to afford the houses that we're selling. So that's why real estate's such a strong indicator, and we have more to come. So keep an eye out for it, and that brings us to home improvements, which we talked about. TTCU Federal Credit Union, Dan Newberry is with us. We talked about home improvements earlier, and not just home improvements, Dan, to sell your house, but maybe you're wanting to stay in your house.
Quality of life issues, sure.
Yeah, and perhaps this is something such as, I'm living in my house, and I'd mentioned always wanting to keep my house, but my personal outlook on things is, by the way, I sleep well at night. I'm not afraid of these things, but I'm always planning. What would happen if I had to sell my house tomorrow? What things would I need to immediately take care of? So I want to plan these items and have them off the checklist in case there was a life event. Well, what if there's a life event that I hadn't planned on and I needed to get money quickly to improve my house to sell? Or that I needed grab bars and a level entry, so I had to re-pour some concrete. Those types of things. What if I needed to add another bathroom because I needed to create a downstairs master suite? I have an upstairs master suite, but I need a downstairs bedroom with bathroom to accommodate a family member.
Well, and
Where
I just had
go?
a client today tell me she's wanting to do something with her detached garage so she can make room for her mother to move in and make a nice apartment for her.
These are real life examples. We deal with this all the time. So I tell them, call TTCU.
That's the greatest advice you could give them, too.
See, I told you. We are full of great advice. You're the Baskin Real Estate Specialist.
Great advice. So, that can be the scope of home improvement can be so wide and so deep. It can be everything from, like I heard you talking about, changing out windows. It could be from doing that all the way down to I need to add on that extra room for my mother-in-law who, she's 85 years old, or my mother who's, that kind of thing. So what we do at the credit union when you come in to talk about that is we sit down and talk about the issues that you're dealing with and what the scope of what you're wanting to do is. So if we're talking about adding on a mother-in-law's quarters, for instance, right? Well, that's going to require building permits. That's going to require us to do a construction loan in order to be able to build that type of facility. And unless you're really well adept to doing that yourself, you're going to have a builder involved, right? So that's one type of situation. But changing out your light bulbs, or not your light bulbs, I'm sorry, your windows. Sometimes your light bulbs, those light bulbs can be expensive.
They are really becoming expensive.
Your light fixtures, or changing out your windows, or putting in a new kitchen, or updating a bathroom. Those are things that are not maybe required a contractor to do, but could cost tens of thousands of dollars. And there's really multiple products you can use. You could use the equity in your home to do that. You could use a signature loan to do that. We have a special product that's just designed to do up to $40,000 in home improvements when you purchase a house or later on. So there's lots of different things you can do to really spruce up that house. One thing we really encourage people to look at, though, is what is the price I'm paying for it and what's the reward I'm going to get out of it in both value and quality of life.
As in, it may be better to go ahead and move and get a house that is more accommodating, or
could be.
Or it's going to be too expensive to move or too challenging to move.
It could be the difference between I'm going to spend $150,000 to build on, to my house and to accommodate my mother-in-law. I'm just throwing numbers out there. It could be less than that. But, when you put that money in your home, maybe your home's only worth $150,000 when you're done.
It's over improved, yeah.
Right. Or it's too big for the area. Another thing we think about is what type of product are you putting in your house, right? Sometimes people might go and find a real high-end window, and I'm going to replace 25 windows. That's going to cost me $35,000 to do that.
Yeah, $1,000 a window.
Right, or you can go to a different place, like you mentioned a company earlier.
Yeah, Window World, by the way. We talk about them so frequently because we're looking at about $300.
$300 a window, right?
And so that you can recover that cost easier.
So sometimes you can get to the place where you want to go without spending all those extra dollars. And so you really have to weigh, am I making a frugal decision? Am I making a decision that's going to improve my value? And is it going to be over-improved? And so there's a lot of consideration needs to be taken into those projects.
Well, and it's really nice for someone to have a person like you to talk to as opposed to just a contractor. You get your bids, you get your ideas, then come back and talk to someone who's going to really help you walk through your options.
Go across the board, because all of these things go in. This is exactly what I would be saying if I were talking to somebody. Listen, don't just take my word for it. I have one perspective. Your contractor has another perspective. Your your lender has another perspective. And all of those have to come together. The biggest mistakes I see are going out. You feel like you've got good advice because you talked to somebody and you got another opinion, but that is one perspective, not a well-rounded perspective and opinion. So go across the board. That's why we're here. And if you want to schedule an appointment on the phone, just a 15-minute phone call. Do this several times a week. AskinForBaskin.com, AskinForBaskin. I'll make a personal introduction to you to TTC, Federal Credit Union, and get you on the line, hooked up with them so that they can get you the right information. Or you can go straight to TTCU.com and apply online this weekend. They'll call you back on Monday. TTCU.com. And what's the phone number?
918-749-8828. We've got you covered.
Good. You're listening to The Future of Real Estate, Tulsa's source for local real estate news and information. I'm excited to get back to this discussion with Stephen Whitaker of John 3:16 Mission here in Tulsa, the pressing issue of the homeless population. And we had to cut off the discussion at Third World what? Begging here in Tulsa, and what we need to know about it as just the general public. Stay tuned after this.
When quality and value matter most, choose Window World. Superior service, American-made products, and industry-leading warranties make us the #1 choice for your next home remodel. J.D. Power ranked Window World highest in customer satisfaction with window and patio door retailers. Be proud of your home and take care of it with a brand you can trust. Window World, America's exterior remodeler.
66 are the things that are most important on this side.
Diane, show me. Here, this is where Tulsa started, right?
Yeah.
So right here is where Red Fork is, Ollie's. You say oil was struck there, and
well, it's not far from there. I think it's actually actual wells like right up in here.
This vicinity, and so what caused all of this growth up into Tulsa? I mean, if this was originally Tulsa.
Well, just like I stated, is that, this is where all the drilling was going on. This is where all the roughnecks were. It was a very, very rowdy, full steam ahead community in this area. There was a lot of activity going on here. So, like I said, the oil barons, moved across over into here, into the 15th Street area to build their homes.
Okay, so
and
this is now
the downtown area.
This is now downtown, and back over here we have the redevelopment of Crystal City. This is Route 66. And what is it called? The Cyrus Avery Bridge.
Cyrus Avery Bridge.
That's the significance of that bridge. And Route 66 is that was the passageway into what's now our downtown.
Exactly. Well, now this is actually called the Cyrus Avery Plaza.
Okay.
And then there's the 11th Street Bridge, and they're really the significance of them is two separate things. The bridge, because it gave them access to the other side of the river, to transport things, to transport food, to move to do all the activity to. Otherwise, there was the other location that was down here. So the bridge that was down here, and these two were not here at the time. So this was one of the first ones, and it's very significant because it did give them access to downtown where they began.
And that explains why the west side of the river really was so industrial. This is where our money was.
This is actually where the well is.
Yeah.
So a lot of it's being, drilled here down in Creek County. There's just a ton of oil. In fact, right now, most of the oil in Oklahoma is coming out of Creek County. So it was all down in this area.
Well, Diane, with the new name is Route 66 Main Street.
Yes.
And we'll see signs and a lot of progress, really marking the redevelopment of Tulsa's history right here along Route 66 on the west side.
I think that choosing anything for your home can be intimidating.
When we are faced with a decision of this magnitude, and there are so many options and there are so many choices.
To have someone hold your hand and say, hey, these are some good options. Start here, but use it as a springboard. Let it be your inspiration.
We had the privilege of homeguidetulsa.com. I'm Darryl Baskin. You're listening to The Future of Real Estate. And I don't know. We're going to squeeze all this stuff in. John 3:16 Mission. Stephen Whitaker is here with us, and also in the studio, Pamela Wright with Baskin Real Estate Specialists and Dan Newberry with TTCU Federal Credit Union. Today's program brought to you by TTCU Federal Credit Union, Integrity Title and Abstract, Window World, and the Baskin Real Estate Specialists. Jumping right into unsheltered. Our unsheltered population here in Tulsa. What do we need to know about it?
Well, unsheltered is a term used by HUD, and it's a good term. I'm not a fan of system speak, but in this particular case, it helps us to understand exactly who we're talking about. It includes everybody that living under the bridges, all of our panhandlers, all of our beggars.
All categories of people who just don't have a home or a place to over their head.
They're not in shelter and not in housing. And so we have a large growing population of unsheltered in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Everybody that's listening right now is going, duh. Of course they know we've got a large growing population of unsheltered people in Tulsa because they're everywhere. And so our problem is that even as we've done research and we're doing survey after survey after survey trying to find out exactly what's going on in our culture, as they are in every other community across the nation, because our community is not the only one that's experienced an uptick in the numbers of people that are unsheltered
and they're not just coming from other cities here. It's a growing population.
Yeah, no, most people in Tulsa that are homeless are from Tulsa. Last survey, last October, November, Tulsa Police Department, 380 outreaches by Tulsa Police Department. 8 people were not from Tulsa.
Interesting.
They're all from Tulsa, almost all.
So what is happening? And what do I need to know if I'm just the observer here? South Tulsa, there's been a huge increase. There's an entire town hall held by the city councilors about the concern for the growing or the increase in the homeless in South Tulsa that it's spread out. It's changing.
So let me hop in here real quick, because I was in San Francisco just a few weeks ago. And what we found, like we arrived there, we're going to see the Golden Gate Bridge, doing some stuff, right? And there are homeless people everywhere, but they weren't bothering anybody. They're just laying around the streets and whatever. And so I'm asking the local population about it. When they said was the pricing of housing in San Francisco had gone so high that these people
can't afford it.
That these people all had homes in San Francisco and couldn't afford the taxes, lost their homes, and they don't know where to go.
Oh, but they're working too, sounds like.
Well, some of them might be working. I don't know.
But how do you have a job if you don't have a home?
Right. I mean, how do you take a shower and get ready to go?
This is a cyclical issue.
So as I think about that, and as we look across South Tulsa and that movement going across South Tulsa, how much, maybe it's not driven by taxes here, but it's still, maybe it's the person you're not expecting to be homeless is sitting there in that situation.
Well, I think in Tulsa, if you're gonna hang that somewhere we can understand it, for the people we're talking about, it's because they don't make enough money to even pay rent.
Right.
So that's a contributor. Of course, mental health is a contributor, smaller than most people think. I think it's difficult to quantify how many people are mentally ill, and we're quick to say if you're homeless, you're probably mentally ill. I would be, that's a whole other show for me somewhere.
Right.
There are other issues. One of them, the most troubling ones for me are people that are choosing to live homeless right now that call themselves a patriot, a traveler, a free person, saying that they're not subject to the laws of the land. A huge growing group are just saying, we're not subject to the laws. I'm perfectly happy living under this bridge. Go away. I don't need your Jesus. I don't need your meals. I don't need what you've got to offer. And just rejecting culture as we know it right now. That's interesting. That's a larger group than we know right now, and that's subject to easy verification for us.
Is that because they're addicted and they don't want to give up their addictions? Because you have to come into your group, you have to be willing to try to give up your addiction.
Well, that's correct, but not mentally ill or addicted. They've rejected the laws of the land.
It's not necessarily that they're rejecting because they're addicted. You're saying there's not a
it's almost, that's like an anarchy.
It is. Free people are patriots. Patriots up in Montana. If you tell Tulsa Police Department if they stop you, you're a free person that could get you put on the terror watch list. You're saying I'm not subject to the laws of this land. So that's a part of what's going on now, and addiction and mental illness.
And that's not
necessarily co-occurring. Not necessarily co-occurring. But that's all a part of our society. And so we've got a large growing number of people that are out there. We have too many people giving away food on the streets. Too many. If you're giving away food on the street and you haven't done your casework, stop it.
Wait a minute. Let's say this again, because there's to people who are used to. I work every day. I pay my bills. I'm driving back and forth. My heart is that I would want to help others. Okay, so let's talk about the cycle that's created by overhelping without accountability.
That's a toxic charity. You're materially harming that person by not allowing them to become independent on their own.
By the way, you're not the only person that I've heard that from. I spoke to a homeless individual who was rehabilitated out of this bad cycle that he was in. And he said the people who hurt him the most, it was like an alcoholic that was being enabled, that the people who said, no more, and I'm not giving you any more, that's the only way he got help.
If you haven't done the casework and you're giving food away to that person or you're giving money to that person, there's every chance that you're materially harming them. You may be ruining their life. Tulsa is full of John 3:16 Mission, Salvation Army, Day Center for the Homeless, Mental Health Association for Oklahoma, the barracks for people that are veterans. We have lots of helping entities in Tulsa, Oklahoma, but a lot of people feel like God told me to go feed that homeless person. I'm going to go feed them. And we're giving away too much food right now. If you saw what I saw in the encampments, especially working up to the floods, because I worked every day, 40 days out in the encampments. If you saw what I saw in the encampments and you saw the waste of them, I went in one tent that must have had 40 brand new blankets stacked from the floor to the ceiling in the tent, where people were carrying them blankets and food, flats of food, a pallet of food in one encampment, a pallet.
Let me just say this conversation it did not go the direction I expected it to go. And this is why I like having a spontaneous visit here, because if I needed to hear this, how many other thousands of people needed to hear and understand this? Because we are just ingrained to help and to always want to follow our hearts and do the right thing. But we need to do that properly, is what you're saying.
And you can't do it properly unless you know what you're doing. And Tulsa has some amazing, wonderful, trained, vetted. I've got 30 years in the field. 30 years in the field. I'm in the encampments. I get in my four-wheel drive. I drive to the encampments. I know where they are. I know what's going on. If you're giving away food to somebody, or giving away money on the corner of the streets of Tulsa, you are diminishing our community. Please give to your favorite charity that's working with people that are homeless. They can make a difference. If your favorite charity is not John 3:16, I understand. I hope it is, but if it's not, that's fine. But just give to your favorite charity. That way, you can substantiate what's going on with your donation, and you can make a difference.
So let's talk about the politics of this. We're all voters. I'm swayed. I want to cast a vote and feel like I'm making a difference for the right thing, to help solve these problems, not perpetuate them. What do you wish I knew?
One more time. Say it one more time.
Okay. I want to affect change the best way I can. I'm a voter. I'm a citizen here. People, they run a campaign. They're saying, vote for me because I'm going to do this, that, or whatever. Maybe it's directly or not directly related to the homeless population. We don't know. Maybe it's related to the police force. Maybe it's related to IMSA, whatever it is. What do you see happening behind the scenes that the public really needs to understand about what causes these things to happen? And they can be general societal issues, but we have a lot of services and it keeps getting worse. What's happening?
Well, I think without using big preacher words, and I can do that, we're seeing in many ways the breakdown of the nuclear family. People have been talking about that for a long time. As long as we don't hold people accountable, and as a culture, we're schizophrenic on this issue, whether we're going to hold somebody accountable or not. There's some people, we were talking about that a little while ago.
That's mean and heartless.
Yes, as they're going to say, that's mean and heartless, and you should just give them what they need or what they want or what they ask for.
It's like my kids don't get trophies for participating.
Okay. I understand exactly what you're saying, but we've got to hold people accountable, and if we don't hold them accountable, if we don't say you can't live your life this way, then we've got a problem. Half of culture says you can't live your life that way. The other says let them do what they want to do. And we're schizophrenic as a culture, and for that reason, we have growing entitlements in our culture that just allow people to live any way they want to. Leave them alone.
John316mission.org.
John316mission.org. That's correct.
Okay. We've got probably 30 seconds. Can we make a point in 30 seconds?
Well, give them the phone number.
918-587-1186. Is that the number you're going to give or your phone number?
No, I was going to give your phone number. I'm disappointed that we're out of time. This is captivating to me. It's something that we all need to understand.
Steve, will you come back and join us again?
Yes, I'll come back and join you whenever I can.
Okay. Good. John 316 Mission. I'm Darryl Baskin. You're listening to The Future of Real Estate. AskinForBaskin.com to schedule an appointment, a quick phone call, or HomeGuideTulsa.com. Thank you to our sponsors, TTCU.com, Integrity Title, Window World of Tulsa, and the Baskin Real Estate Specialists. See you here next week.